I'm not going to use this one. I'm not going to use this one. No. What's the deal, Jacksonville? How y'all doing? All right. Everybody, y'all, we've moved around a little bit. We got the blood flowing. We engaged. But I've made a bet with the young gentleman in the back. I call him Russell Simmons, but he's with Joe, that I'm going to get the middle aisle to be more engaged than everybody else because there's only 2 tables in the middle one. All right, so y'all going to help me win this dollar. All right. Is there anyone, are there any January or February birthdays in the room? January, all right, we got one, all right, we got 2, January or February birthdays in the room. Okay, so I'm going to ask, since we've all been engaged thus far, I'm going to ask for y'all to stand up if your birthday is January or February. And for everyone else, if you can take one moment, we're not going to sing because I've been advised never to do that again. Yeah, but we're going to take one moment and just say happy birthday. All right, everybody okay with that? Yeah. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday. All right, thank you very much. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you, thank you. Have any of you heard the term or phrase CYA? Raise your hand. Don't say it. Don't say what you think it is. I don't want y'all to end up saying something inappropriate, but you've heard the phrase CYA. CYA is a concept that I live by, and it stands for consider your audience. I don't know what y'all was thinking, right? It stands for consider your audience. And I say I live by that because regardless if I'm speaking to one individual or a group of people, it's very, very important to consider your audience. So, for example, in the last 13 years of my Navy career, I was an IT. So if I'm in a room full of computer geeks, I can speak differently and use different language than I would if I was in a room full of people who are chefs. Right? I would speak differently and use a different language. And the reason I bring that up is because my task today was a bit interesting. We all come from different industries, different dynamics, and the task was to consider your audience. I want to make sure that what we communicate with and what we convey is something that can be applied to all walks of life, all industries. So we're going to speak conceptually and not get down into the weeds about any like the details or minutia for any specific things that we talk about. So before we move forward, what do you think about when you hear the term secure the bag? Oh, I'm sorry. Say go ahead. Save the money? Okay. I heard someone say get that money. I like that. All right. Secure the bag. I'm really glad that this event is entitled Secure the Bag. But what we're going to do is we're going to change it up a bit, and we're going to say secure the BAG. Now, a few years ago, there was a group that had a song that was called OPP. Right? Again, don't say what it means. That's not the point. But we're going to steal that vibe. We're going to swagger jack them and steal that vibe, and we're going to get some participation. And I'm going to ask a question, and all I need y'all to do is say, yeah, you know me. All right? Call and response. So first I'm going to start over here on this aisle. All right? Will you secure the BAG? Yeah, you know me. All right. How about y'all in the middle? All right. Now listen, I got $1 riding on y'all. Okay? So that's all I had. Will y'all secure the BAG? Yeah, you know me. All right. I think we're winning. Your dollar's in trouble. All right. How about this aisle? Will y'all secure the BAG? Yeah, you know me. Oh, wait. No. Y'all weren't supposed to be. Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask that question a few more times. I'm going to ask the question a few more times, and everybody will respond. So the reason I wanted to break it down and say secure the BAG is so that we can have something to attach it to when it comes to remembering the points we're going to discuss. So this aisle over here is the B aisle. And the very first thing we're going to discuss is being connected. when it comes to networking and forming strategic partnerships, it's important to be connected. So how do we do that? There are a few ways in order to do that, but we're going to talk about some cost-effective ways where you can get maximum impact with minimal effort. Maximum impact with minimal effort. I remember when I was in the Navy, I would ask the most lazy guys in my division how to accomplish a task, and it seems counterintuitive. But the reason why I would ask the lazy guys to come up with a method or a strategy to accomplish this mission is because they didn't want to work. They didn't want to work. So what they would come up with would be something where we can get maximum impact with minimal effort. And they made our entire team shine, and I took the credit. So the first thing is to write a book. Has anyone in here ever thought about writing a book before? All right. So don't raise your hand if you've only thought about it and you haven't done it, because we can get you right with that here as well. But a lot of folks have thought about writing a book, and then that negative voice in the back of your head. Most of us don't need a hater to tell you that you can't do it, because we already have a voice. Most of us have a voice. Oh, well, you don't like writing. It's too hard. It'll take too long. Nobody's going to buy it, and all those other things. Well, I haven't perfected the art of getting rid of that voice. So it's still there. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress, right? But I will talk back and tell them, shut up, sit down while I move forward, right? So writing a book is a lot easier than you may think. As a matter of fact, when I was sitting in the barber chair, my barber, he told me that he wanted to write a book. And so we just started talking about what the book was going to be about, so on and so forth. And he's very passionate about his profession. So didn't do anything spectacular. I just started asking him questions. I pulled out my phone while he was doing his thing. I pulled out my phone. I started asking questions. And based on his answers, I just type in what he said. By the end of the haircut, we had an outline for his entire manuscript. That was just 30 minutes. Like I said, didn't do anything spectacular, just a Q&A. A Q&A. He always said he wanted to write a book, but he didn't know how to get started. Would you believe me if I tell you that you don't have to write anything to complete your entire manuscript? Anybody want to know how? We all got smartphones. Most of our phones are smarter than us. So take the smartphone and answer some of the questions based on your field. Now, where are you going to get the questions from? Google will tell you the most frequently asked questions based on your specific industry. If they're the most frequently asked questions, then those are the things that the individuals who are interested in your industry, they want to know. You don't have to do a lot of research. Google will give you the answer. Google will give you the question. And all you have to do is talk into your phone and provide the answer. You don't have to write anything. Before you know it, you will start to see the building blocks of your manuscript start to come together. If you need some help, grab someone that you know, like, or trust, or all three. Grab someone that's outside of your industry and have them also ask you questions about it. That will get the wheels turning. That will get the ideas flowing. And then all you have to do is just speak the answer. Easy. Before you know it, you'll be done with your manuscript. And guess what? You can publish it for free. You can write it for free. And use the book as a springboard for your platform. What do I mean by that? After I wrote the first book, and granted, I don't like writing that much either, right? But after I wrote the first book, I let a few individuals know that I've published it through Amazon for free, and I started getting calls to appear on podcasts. I started getting calls to talk about the book, and that set a few things in motion that were very valuable for my business. All right, so that's the first thing. Be connected. Write a book. The second thing is to network. Networking events are everywhere, especially in Jacksonville. Everywhere you look, there's a networking event, but don't just go to them for the sake of going to a networking event. Be strategic about it. Pick events that are comparable to your industry or what you do or to what you want to do. And you go to those events, and even if you're an introvert and you're like, all right, well, I'm here. Now what do I do, Luke? You got me here. What do I do next? I have a very simple and easy to remember mnemonic. If you are in a conversation or if you want to engage in a conversation and you have no idea how to start it. So regardless what kind of car you drove in or rode in, use a Ford. F-O-R-D. You can speak about family. Everyone loves to talk about their family. And even if you don't want to ask them questions and seem like the creepy stranger asking about family, you can talk about your family. And it doesn't have to be anything very private. So for example, last year, my son graduated high school. He graduated high school with a regular diploma after the doctors told him he would never be able to do that because he was diagnosed on the autism spectrum. I can talk, and I don't have to ask you about your family to share something like that about mine. Easy day. That's the F, family. The O, occupation. At almost every networking event is what do you do? When you ask that question, they're naturally going to ask after their spiel, what do you do? And you're not boasting or you're not bragging about your profession. You're just answering their question. It makes it easy. It makes it organic, where you're not just walking up to someone and say, hey, do you want to buy or sell a house? Don't do that. The third thing about being connected is dynamic mentorship. We've all heard about coaches and mentors, but it gets watered down so much to the point where a lot of folks and a lot of professions, they get a check in the box just by saying, all right, I have a mentor. And we don't really take an opportunity to strategize and figure out how can I get the most out of this relationship. Dynamic mentoring is, I call it dynamic mentoring because it's not just I'm sitting here receiving instruction or receiving guidance. Dynamic mentoring is to receive mentorship from an individual, also to impart your experiences with your peers, and to provide mentorship for someone else. So you're receiving from, you're demonstrating with, and you're imparting to. That's dynamic. That's how you do it right. And when you do it that way, and if you can visualize it, I'm receiving from this individual that's further down the line from me. I'm demonstrating with my peers so we can lock arms and move forward together as a unified front. And I'm also imparting to. Hey, this is what I just got from Joe and Jay. This is what I learned. This is what the results were. So come on. That's dynamic mentorship. So now we're going to go to my favorite aisle and see the A. All right. Will y'all secure the BAG? Yes. All right. So for the A is accelerated impact. We talked about it really briefly before, where we want to get the maximum impact with minimal effort. So accelerated impact will look different based on what your industry is and how you approach it. I can provide an example of a recipe, but what you would have to do is you would have to take that recipe and add, salt, your pepper, cayenne, or whatever to make it fit what you do and the results that you need. For example, in our real estate office, we have about 200 individuals in our office in Jacks Beach, and they do this thing called a Bold 100. A Bold 100 is where you engage 100 people in 24 hours and just in their minds try to connect your name with real estate or your name with whatever you do. Right? That's a Bold 100. I had problems doing that because some of the team members, most of them don't look like me, right? And there's a challenge there, and it's okay. I'm up to the challenge. But when I would see them at Avenues Mall, and they would engage folks, first of all, you're not supposed to do that. right? You're not supposed to go around and pass out business cards. Hey, you want to buy or sell real estate? Come to. You're not supposed to do that. But they would be doing that, and someone would get 100 folks in 24 hours. I am not about to walk around Avenues Mall, and meanwhile, I'm evading mall security because I'm breaking the rules, right? So now I already look suspicious. People already think realtors are like used car salesmen, and I'm watching my back. No, I'm not about to do that. So what I did do is I volunteered to speak at an event in World Golf Village. I didn't really want to go there, but I had a mission. The mission was maximum impact, minimal effort. Instead of evading mall security at Avenues Mall to get to 100 people, there were 380 people in the audience. I spoke for 10 minutes and got my message to 380 people, and I didn't speak about real estate because I don't want to be that guy, right? The point is, after it was over, I did a Q&A with the MC on the stage in front of everyone where he asked me about my book. The book also establishes you as a credible authority figure in that industry. It don't even have to be a good book. Most people are not going to read the book. They just need to know you wrote it. I'm going to say it again. Most people are not going to read it. They just need to know you wrote it. It gives them a comfort level, right? Also, educate to dominate. Find and create platforms where you can answer those frequently asked questions about your industry, whether it be a podcast, whether it be a blog, whether it be a radio show. And guess what? You don't have to come up with something brand new every time you do a segment, because all the information that you're going to be doing at first comes straight from the book. You're reusing that content. You with me? And the last thing is an accountability chamber. An accountability chamber is a group of individuals that will hold you accountable that are not yes men or yes women. The people that will look at it and say, hey, Luke, there are 17 things wrong with this, but let's help you fix it. Those are the individuals that we need. And to wrap up really, really quickly, we're going to go to the G. But first, will y'all secure the BAG?
Yeah, you know me.
All right. The G is really, really short and brief, and it's called, instead of being a go-getter, sometimes it's good to be a go-giver and look for opportunities to add value in someone else's life. If you add value and you look for opportunities to give people what they want and what they need, you'll never have to want or need for anything. So I really, really appreciate y'all's attention and thank y'all for staying awake. And before I go, we're going to raffle off the newest book, which is called Boost Your Brand. Why did I have to look at it? I wrote it, right? It's called Boost Your Brand on a Budget. So, I'm sorry? It's good. It's good. I'm glad you asked that. It's good. You want me to pick? Want me to draw?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, all right.
Don't cheat, you're looking.
Okay, all right. I'm going to look this way. All right. Which one? On the back? 047. 047. All right, all right. All right, that concludes my spiel. Thank y'all for paying attention.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Just before you go, does anyone have any questions? Networking questions? Oh, great.
Okay. So hold your questions to the end.
All right. Hold on.